Good evening. On behalf of the Adult Literacy Collaborative and Greenfield Community College, it's my pleasure to welcome you to our annual high school equivalency graduation. My name is Kate Devlin, and I'm coordinator of student assessment here at GCC, and I also run the testing. So let's give our graduates a welcome round of applause. I'm so excited to share this night with you all. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank all of you who supported these graduates, family, friends, everyone who's here to help them celebrate their accomplishments. So graduates, let's applaud your family members. So in the past year, over 200 students have finished their high school equivalency credentials through GCC. You'll notice that not all of the graduates are here tonight. They couldn't all make it. And some of them actually just found out that they finished their degree on Friday. So this is really great. Our graduates range in age from 16 to 60. The passing rate for high school equivalency examinees testing here at GCC has been consistently above the state average, and I think this is great. I think this is certainly a testament to the dedication of our students and our community, and also our local adult education centers and literacy programs. On that note, I want to recognize everyone who is a teacher here, who has helped either tutor or teacher any of the graduates tonight. So if you're here, could you stand up so we can see who you are, so we can thank you? All right. So thank you for everything that you do. We're fortunate tonight to have several special speakers to honor our graduates. And without further ado, it's my pleasure to kick off tonight by introducing someone who's been an inspiration to our community and to GCC, our president of Greenfield Community College, Dr. Bob Pura.
Hello, everybody. Oh, come on. Hello, everybody. It's a celebration. So it really is my privilege on behalf of the faculty, the staff, and our boards who want to welcome everybody here tonight and to especially say congratulations to all of you. We really are very proud of your accomplishments, and a special shout out to all of the community partners that we have in helping to get you to this place. So you'll hear more about the Literacy Project and Community Action and the Center for New Americans, the public schools, the Regional Employment Board. We really do work hard and well together as a community to lift and provide the opportunities for you. So I want to say thank you to each of those folks as well. So your GED diploma is telling the entire world that you have learned to communicate better, think more critically, and have a better understanding of the world around you. But you know that the most important outcome of a GED experience is that you really are beginning to learn how to learn. The notion of a degree symbolizing all of the outcomes of all those tests that you take is much greater than that. This diploma really means that you have demonstrated that you know how to learn. So when you go on to college, when you go and get the job, and you're asked to adapt and think about and learn new skills and new ways of doing things, you know that you can do it. So you are ready to take the next step, but I know the next step is a hard one. Inside each of you is the passionate desire to learn. You have a passionate desire to grow and strive and to reach your own potential. Inside each of you is the desire to work hard to create a better life for yourselves and your families. And each of you are dreams that are just waiting for you. What holds each of us back from the pursuit of our dreams? Why do we hold ourselves back? Fear. Michael Jordan, when he was being installed into the Hall of Fame of basketball down the road in Springfield, on that night he said, "Fear, like limits themselves, are just an illusion." My brother-in-law is a farmer, and he asked me once to help him take a bull from one farm to the other, and I went to go help him, and the bull was with a whole bunch of cows, and we didn't know what to do because the bull would be protected by the cows, and we went out to go get the bull, and we just couldn't get the job done. So the farmer said, well, we know what to do. So he put some feed out by the side of the barn and in this little corral, and all the cows went in there with the bull. Pretty smart guy. And so we went in, we got the bull, we put him in the truck, and as I looked back, I saw him just tying a rope around the gate of that corral. It's just a rope. And you think about those cows and all the power that they have inside of them. And they just stood there. They could have gotten back out, but that rope kept them. And I think that metaphor continued to make me think about the ropes in my life, the ropes in all of our lives that keep us from striving, that hold us back from reaching that potential and going after our dreams. So you have proven yourselves, and you have proven to your loved ones that you can do this. Don't be harnessed by those ropes that really can't hold you back. Those cows can push in the side of that barn, let alone get through that rope. But they stood there. Don't let anyone or anything stop you from getting the education and then the quality of life that you dream about for yourselves and for your families. Don't let anyone or any emotion stop you from the pursuit of your dreams. I wish for you all of those things, and with hard work, you will achieve them. My congratulations to each of you on behalf of the entire college, and I hope to see you soon at GCC. We will hold a seat for you. Congratulations.
Thanks, Bob. So next up, we have Judith Roberts, who is the director of the Literacy Project. And a lot of you I know have worked through the Literacy Project to come. So please.
I'm so happy to be here to celebrate with you graduates. Congratulations, you guys are awesome. And also congratulations to the families supporting you and to your wonderful teachers who are here. And I know that you understand about working hard, being motivated to be successful, because you've all shown that you can do that. And you know, there's only one place where success comes before work. Do you know where that is? Anybody? Where does success come? Yeah? Yeah? Dictionary, right. Everywhere else, hard work comes first. And I know you guys know that because you've done that. You've accomplished that, and we are so proud of you. So getting your GED, this is an interesting group because some of you have GEDs, got GEDs, right? Who got GEDs here? And some of you got HiSET, right? So this is the 1 year that we're going to have both. But getting your HiSET and getting your GED, that's the on-ramp. So that's the on-ramp to the highway for the rest of your life to be successful. And I want to recommend that you come here. The community college is a wonderful place. And if you don't know where to come to the admissions office, make an appointment with admissions, or talk to your advisors, talk to your teachers, your counselors, Amber at the Literacy Project in Greenfield, and Julie at the Literacy Project in Orange will be very happy to help you to think about your next steps. Very, very, very important. And Bob will be here holding the door open for you. I'm a proud graduate of GCC myself. I love this place. I came here as an adult. I went to school part-time while working 2 jobs and raising a family. And it took me a while to get through. Does anybody want to guess how many years it took me coming steadily to college, part-time, working 2 jobs and raising a family? More. Close. 15 years. It took me 15 years to graduate, but it was worth it. And so if I can do it, you can too. So I want to clap for you, though. So go ahead, do it, follow your dreams. You have shown that you know how to work hard, be motivated, and be successful. So take those next steps. Thank you.
Thank you, Judith. So next, it's my pleasure to introduce Tom Meacham. Tom comes to us from the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. He's the state chief examiner for the high school equivalency testing. So it's with great pleasure we introduce Tom.
Hello, everybody. Nice to see you. Thanks, Kate, for allowing me the privilege of being here tonight, and I'd also like to thank Kate for running an exemplary test center. She's fantastic. She sure makes my life easier, and I know she makes your life easier, because with a well-run test center, it gives you your best chance to do your best. So it's a win-win situation. Thanks. I'd also like to thank Greenfield Community College, not just for their support of the test center, but also for the support of you graduates, many of whom will be coming here or are already here. This is such an excellent opportunity to get a great education, so I want to thank you, Bob, very much. So, some years ago, I used to get invited regularly to be part of this wonderful celebration, and that happened for several years in a row. Then one year they called me and they said, "Tom, you're not coming this year. We're substituting for you Bill Cosby." For whatever reason, they thought he was going to be funnier than me. But I want you to know I've gotten over it now, and I'm very, very glad to be here. But Kate did tell me, you know, Tom, your reputation precedes you. You've got a lot of Gaelic blood coursing through your veins. You really like to hear yourself talk. And these graduates have better things to do tonight than to be sitting here listening to you babble on. So keep it short, would you please? Stick to our timetable. So I said, fine, I'll do it. But what it means for you is that there are things I might have included in this speech that I am not going to talk about tonight. For example, one thing I'm not going to talk about tonight is how valuable is that piece of paper you have earned, the high school equivalency credential. Whether it's a GED or a HiSET, it's exactly the same diploma, and it is exactly equivalent to a high school diploma in virtually every single college and university in this country and for every employer in the country. So that is a very, very, very valuable thing you have earned for yourself. You need to have post-secondary education if you're going to have a chance at earning a family-sustaining wage, and you can't access it without that piece of paper. It's a very, very valuable door opener. But I don't have time to talk about that. And I'm also not going to talk about how difficult the test is, even though I know how it is, and how smart you are if you pass it. What they do with these tests is they take them and give them to high school seniors who are going to graduate all across the country. And the test that you have taken, 42% of those graduating seniors failed that test. So this is harder to pass than the MCAS test to get out of high school. So more power to you for what you have done. I wish I had time to talk about that, but I do not. I'm also not going to talk about something else that I know, which is what studying for and taking and passing this test says about your character, what it says about your motivation, what it says about your perseverance. For many of you, this was not easy. And what it says about your courage, because, you know, you could have failed. And it takes a lot of courage to commit publicly to something, knowing that you might have to admit, I didn't make it. So more power to you again. So anyhow, those are some of the things that I'm not going to talk about tonight. But And I would like to remind you, if you're timing me, all I have talked about tonight already is what I am not going to talk about. So my speech has not yet even begun. But I am going to talk to you for 1 minute only about what I see for you going forward. For go forward you must, to college or some post-secondary education. It's your only chance of earning a family-sustaining wage. And I don't like to dwell on post-secondary education, the duty of it and the necessity of it, because going to college is a great experience in its own right. It's a fantastic thing to challenge your intellect with ideas you might never have thought of before, to participate in a community of intelligent thinking people like yourselves, and to see possibilities in life you might never have considered. So college is not just something you must do, it's a lot of fun. Also, you've got to get a job and earn a family-sustaining wage. But again, I don't like to think of that as a drudgery and a duty. I like to think of the career as something more than just the money you make. A career is very rewarding and challenging, and it will use all the powers that you possess and you are going to possess. So a career is a wonderful, challenging thing too, not just something you must do. And also lifelong learning. You take an old goat like myself, I've learned 1,000 times more things out of school than I learned in school, but it was my formal education that laid the groundwork for that, just as it will be for you. So your formal education is going to develop a range of interest. It's going to develop habits of mind that will carry you through lifelong learning. And so I really envy you where you are in your life going forward. It's a wonderful place to be. And if you find it a little bit frightening, and if you feel you might not be totally prepared for that next step, may I say, welcome to the club. I don't think there's a college graduate in this room that felt prepared to go to college. And so what we're pledging for you is, Kate, the test center, the college, my office, your teachers that you've already had, the programs that you went through, all of us are going to support you through your next steps as well. So it makes my heart soar like a hawk to see the great things that you've accomplished, and I look forward to even the greater ones that you're going to accomplish in the future. So thank you. I'm with you all the way.
Thanks for not talking, Tom. So our next speaker is Kari Lake. Kari has been on a fast track since earning her GED in 2007. In 2010, she graduated from GCC with an associate's degree in liberal arts education. And then she went on. Then she went on to complete a Bachelor's of Science in Biology, and she minored in Chemistry and Geology at Salem State University. And then, it's not over yet. She actually just completed a Master's of Education in Higher Education Student Affairs at Merrimack College. So, Kari.
Hello, everyone. It's an honor to be here with all of you. I like to think of my educational career as a long, winding, never-ending journey. The K-12 part of my experience was not the best, so like you, I chose an alternative route. I received my GED here 7 years ago, and I'm still really proud of that accomplishment. That same year, I started down a new path here at GCC. I decided that I wanted to be a teacher because I wanted to be the kind of teacher that I had always wanted in school, somebody who would encourage me to keep pushing forward. Well, I finished my degree here, absolutely fell in love with education, and decided to go on to Salem State to earn a bachelor's degree. My first week there, I realized that I had no interest whatsoever in working with the K-12 population. I loved working with college students, and working with kids wasn't for me. So I stuck with my second love, biology. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna be a biology teacher, and it's gonna be awesome. Well, I realized shortly thereafter that while I loved biology, teaching biology meant I had to go much further with my degree and work in the field for several years. And working in the field wasn't something that I was super excited about, but it was something I was definitely interested in. But while I was here at GCC, I worked in the Office of Admissions and Registrars, and I absolutely loved it. I loved the school's mission to take care of our students and to help them be successful. And then when I went to Salem State, I worked in residence life, and I worked with programming, and I helped students to really see the extracurricular side of the activities that we had going on campus, and I fell in love. And I realized that education wasn't just about being a teacher or getting a degree. There were different ways to teach. So I talked to some mentors of mine, and they suggested that I get a master's degree in education and higher education. And I went into a one-year graduate program at Merrimack College, and I absolutely loved it. I'm really, really proud to have been part of such a diverse community of learners. They taught me so much through my experience there, and I hope that in future generations I can teach my students those same things. So 7 years ago, I sat where you sit. I was a ball of emotions. I was sad, and I was happy, and I was a little dumbfounded that I was sitting there because I had my whole life expected to graduate with a high school class. But I realized that it took me a lot of courage to sit where you are because high school wasn't for me, and graduating the traditional route wasn't something that I was meant to do. So I applaud you in your courage to sit where you are and to have worked so hard to get there. Throughout my 7 years of school, I've learned a lot about myself, a lot about my future career, and I've learned that lifelong learning is incredibly important. Whether you go on to earn a degree, earn a certificate, take a class, or just learn from your neighbor down the hall who does something incredibly awesome, learning is important. Step out of your comfort zone. Do something that will make you happy and feel successful and fulfilled as a person. Because having a job is not the same thing as having a career. Having a career is doing something that you love and you enjoy and that you can sustain a family life with. I would say most importantly through my journey, I learned the power of courage. And that continuing to work towards my goals, no matter how unrealistic they seemed, because trust me, 7 years ago, I did not think I was going to have a master's degree. I hope all of you move forward and have courage and continue to have that courage to work towards whatever it is your heart is set on. Because bettering yourself, your life, your family, that's what matters. And I hope that you enjoy your experience and you help to inspire others to do the same. I would like to leave you with a quote from Mary Ann Radmacher that helped me these past 7 years. Something that I've truly lived by. Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is the quiet voice of the ending of the day saying, I will try again tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kari. So our next speaker is one of our current graduates, Shoshone Sadowski. It was one of the first students to take and pass the new HiSET test this spring. Right. She's a single mom of 2 children, and after many jobs as a parent without a high school diploma, she's eager to re-enter the workforce with a career, and she's now enrolled here at GCC in the medical assistance program. So let's welcome Shoshone.
As you know, my name is Shoshone Sadowski, and I am honored and proud to be here tonight at graduation night. Receiving my HiSET has been a dream goal of mine for so many years, and I have finally made it happen. I dropped out of school at the beginning of my 10th grade year due to unfortunate events in my life. I was put into foster care at age 9 because my parents were drug addicts and alcoholics. I bounced around for a couple of years to a few temporary foster homes and ended up with a lady and her kids that I thought could be my new family. As it turned out, the lady ended up being a drug addict like my parents and also introduced me to drugs as well. I not only started abusing myself with drugs, but the foster lady started physically abusing me too. To end the abuse, I ran away at age 14, which was the beginning of my 10th grade year, and ended up living on the streets. Within a year, I was able to locate and reunite with my real mother, who was still drinking and doing drugs. That reunion did not last long. I ended up on the streets for a time and was able, through good people I had met, to find a job and a place to live. At age 19, I met a man and fell in love, and soon after I had my son. A few years after that, I married the father to my son and also had my daughter, Melissa. Sorry. All this time, I wanted to go back and get an education, but I found myself too busy raising my children and being a wife. I never regretted that because they're everything to me. But at that point in my life, the hardest part about not having an education was not being able to get a decent job to help support our family, and yet the worst part was not being able to help my children with their homework, especially when they needed me. I have now been separated from my husband for quite a few years and have found myself a single mother terribly struggling financially to properly support myself and my now grown children. I have for the past 2 years been working in an ice cream stand, which is a seasonal job. The first winter that the stand closed for the season, I was able to find a temporary job until the stand reopened in the spring. But this last winter, that was not the case. Instead, I ended up at the Greenfield Career Center to apply for unemployment. I found out through a friend of mine who had been in a very similar situation that the Career Center had a HiSET class that could help me get my high school diploma, and hopefully I would be able to get a better job. That same friend also encouraged me to take a college success class at GCC. I know that this sounds easy to some of you, but I am now 42, and it was one of the hardest challenges I ever took. Excuse me. Attending a class or any kind of schooling at this point in my life just seemed crazy and hectic. I felt I was probably too old and could not learn at this point in my life. I could not have been more wrong. I met 2 amazing teachers who changed my life. Annette Kilminster, who taught me the HiSET class and had faith in me. Rosemary Freeland, who taught the College Success course and encouraged me to stand up and claim my education. I thank God for those 2 women coming into my life. And I am also grateful for the love and support and faith from my family and my friends. They believed in me when I thought an education and better life was not possible. In May, I took my last test for the HiSET exams and I passed. I am now a current student in the medical assistant program here at GCC, and I am working very hard to accomplish that goal too. I would like to also say I'm very proud of all of you who are also here tonight to receive your diploma and for standing up and claiming your education as well. I absolutely know how hard it can be. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Shoshone. Our next speaker is another graduate. Donna Tanner was one of the final students to receive a GED diploma last year. She's a single mother of 4, still at home, and has a job as a personal care assistant. Last year was a difficult year for Donna. She experienced a few pitfalls over that year, but still managed to come through, proving that the qualities of persistence, patience, and dedication do pay off. She hopes to begin college classes at GCC in January. So welcome, Donna.
My story parallels with the Greek myth of the Sisyphus, which states that Sisyphus offended the gods, and henceforth spent the rest of his life pushing a rock up a hill. Each time he reached the top, despite his best efforts, the rock rolled to the bottom of the hill again, and he had to start all over again. In 1996, I found out I was pregnant, so I panicked, dropped out of high school, had to work because I needed money to support my child. Then I realized an education was important. The school that I was attending wouldn't accept me back, so I went to work full-time. I worked until I had my daughter, took a couple of months off, and then realized I still needed an education. I wanted a future, a career. So in 1997, with my child in tow, I enrolled in the GED program at Franklin Hampshire Career Center with Trish Donovan. Every day I would drop my daughter off at daycare and then plug away at school. I was in Trish's class for about a year, but then went back to work. 13 years later, with a husband and 3 more children, I continued to work and hem and hawed about whether I should go back to school. Finally, I decided to make some changes and better my life. I left my husband, and with my 4 children, we moved into a new home. And as soon as I was settled, I began to think about that Sisyphus myth of repeating my quest for the GED all over again. 4 years after that, I got my CNA license, found a per diem job doing home health care. Then I was finally ready to go back to school to get my GED. It is when that things began to fall apart. This all happened last year. I took the test, but was short by a few points in passing. Then I got hit by a car, fractured my knee, and injured my back. I was out of work for weeks, and then when I was about to recover from that, I broke my ankle at my softball tournament. Had an operation on it, and was forced to spend more weeks in recovery at home. Things were getting out of control. This is when I decided to call Annette at the Career Center about coming back to school. I started class, only to have wrist surgery 2 weeks later. And now I was well and truly a captive in Annette's GED class. With all that I had been through, it was hard for me to concentrate, but I plugged away at math and essays every possible moment. In fact, my teacher thought that I spent the night in class because I was still there when she arrived in the morning. It was December. I had one more chance to take the math test and pass. It was also the final deadline for taking the GED forever. I was so nervous and scared, but with the encouragement from my teacher, I made it through the final test and passed with a good score in math and the essay. I was so happy. So what I have learned from my years of trials is that persistence, determination, and patience is what it takes to succeed. So in my version of the myth of Sisyphus, I have proved that we are never doomed to fail when things get out of control, as long as we don't give up. And I have learned that I can push out of my way any obstacles that get in my way. And I have learned never to be too afraid to ask for help. I know that all of you have had to overcome obstacles to get here today, have many similar stories. You too have shown your own persistence, determination, and support as well. So you can sit here too. So I just wanted to say congratulations, everybody.
We know how hard you work. We really do. Next, I'd like to invite Regina Curtis to come up. Regina is the Executive Director of Resource Development and the GCC Foundation. And Tom Donovan's with her.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much. Tom was a surprise to Kate, so she did a terrific job, didn't she? You didn't know how surprised she was to see him walking up with me. I'm going to say more about Tom in a minute, but before I do that, I want to say I'm going to read you the formal part about what the Tricia Donovan Scholarship is and how it came to be, and then I'll say a little bit about it, and then we'll present them to our 2 award winners tonight. So, Tricia Donovan of Conway passed away in February of 2011. She had served as a GED instructor at the Franklin Hampshire Employment Training Consortium for many years, during which time she also worked toward her PhD at the UMass School of Education in Amherst. Kari, did you hear that? Completing her program in 2006. Her decades of work improved the lives of thousands who may never have succeeded after traditional education turned out to not be a good fit for their learning journey. And I'm sure there's not a single person in this room who doesn't understand that sentence right there, myself included. So that happened in 2011, and Tom and Tricia were married 30 years?
5, 6, 7, 8.
35, 6, 7, 8 years, a long time. And Tricia I never met her, and one of the reasons I said to Kate that I should be the one to give this award is because I must be the person who most wishes they had met Tricia Donovan. I had the absolute pleasure of having Tom contact me after Tricia passed away and say that he wanted to create a scholarship for students to come to GED in Tricia's name, and he hoped to include their community of family and friends to donate to that scholarship, to donate to that pool, and could we work together to craft that letter and make those invitations and get that out there. So I went to their house, I saw her kitchen, I saw what she baked with, and talked to Tom and saw the pictures and got to know her better and better and better. And we sent out this letter to, 150-something people, and we got 150-something donations like that. And the fund grew and grew and grew, and it is our single largest fund that's ever been endowed, as a memorial gift like this. And as the gifts came in, it wasn't just a check, it was a check with a paragraph or a page or 2 pages of how they knew Tricia or what Tricia meant to her. And I got to know her better and better and better, and every day wished, know for sure it's my loss, it's our loss that we never knew her. But we are going to know her a little bit every year through this, and every year there are 2 people who are going to benefit from a scholarship because Tom really wanted her memory to work this way, to continue to change lives just as Tricia did all of her life. So that's that story. That's Tom. And so I'm going to give those to Tom, and I'm going to introduce the 2 scholarship award winners separately, but to have them come up, and then I didn't tell either of you this before, but don't leave because I need to get some pictures of you with Tom and the president after this is over, so we'll meet out back somewhere. So the first award is the Tricia Donovan Family Scholarship Fund. That was endowed by all those 150 people I just told you about. And it is a permanently endowed scholarship fund established to support new Greenfield Community College students. And this was important to Tom. Tom wanted this award to be significant and meaningful and send the message to somebody that they could come to GCC, they could do it, and this could help. And they needed to be single mothers, and they needed to obtained their, what we then called, general equivalency diploma. So we have a scholarship application process, and the literacy project, and the REB, and the Career Center help us get the word out. And I'm very pleased to tell you that this year's winner, the 2014 award, will go to Omaira Nieves. Omaira? Congratulations. And the second scholarship fund was endowed by a woman who some of you might have heard of. Her name is Jill Kirk Conway, and Dr. Conway is the former president of Smith College. She's an author and historian, a person of some renown and great respect in our community, in every community. And she also knew Tricia personally and clearly was moved, and she wanted to endow a fund separate for that, and which was great because it gave us 2 scholarships to give out. So the Tricia Donovan Memorial Scholarship Fund is a permanently endowed fund established to support current GCC students who have obtained their general equivalency diploma, and the 2014 award winner is Jessica Miner. Congratulations. And that's it. Thank you very much.
We have one more presentation before we get to these. And I'd like to ask all the members of the Graduation Planning Committee to please come up.
Some of you know, and many of you don't know, that Jean Basias was the chief examiner for GCC GED testing for many years. And we all have had the pleasure of knowing Jean and collaborating with Jean and just going through all kinds of stuff in the road to get GED candidates through the process. We decided that at some point we wanted to recognize Jean because she retired and is looking fabulous, you know. So we wanted to just recognize the work that Jean has done, not just for the students who come through the doors, you know, seeking the GED, but those of us who work with those students to get them ready to make the journey to here to take the test. Jean has been amazing with, first of all, supporting us in our work, fielding our millions of questions that we ask over and over because we don't write things down all the time and can't remember the answers to the questions. But also the compassion and just the amazing caring and support that she gave to every potential, you know, GED recipient. Every time, it didn't matter. She always had the energy for it. Several years ago, we decided that as a group, that we should do something to honor GED graduates, because high school kids get a graduation ceremony. GED students, or GED graduates, get a certificate, but the ceremony and just the family coming together and friends and celebrating that is just as important. So fortunately, Jean kind of led us through that process, and you know, we started doing this yearly event, and we relied on Jean for her knowledge and her support when, you know, things were kind of not organized enough. Jean was amazingly organized and kept her little lists and, you know, kept us all on task. So we would just like to thank you and recognize you. We'd like to give Jean this award of recognition, and I'll just read what it says. It says, Jean Basias, for your unwavering loyalty and dedication to serving adults in pursuit of higher education, our heartfelt thanks from all whose lives you have touched in some way, and the Family Literacy Collaborative.
I love to hug people. Thank you, and congratulations, class of 2016.
So I have a confession to make. There's one more thing. And Tom, I'm sorry, but We have someone who would like to make a brief statement for our graduates. It's on a video. It's our West County neighbor, and he's also a GED graduate. Maybe you can guess who he is.
Hello. Yes. Congratulations to all of you. It's very, very important for you to understand that I, Dr. William H. Cosby Jr., EDD, University of Massachusetts, Amherst, with a master's, University of Massachusetts, Amherst, and BS, Communications, Temple University, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Have a GED. I quit high school at the age of 19. Think about it. I quit at age 19, which means, wait a minute, you're supposed to be in there till you're 17 or 18. That's correct. I was still in the 11th grade at age 19. Not because I couldn't do the work, but because I wouldn't do the work. Whatever was on my mind or in my mind, obviously I needed some kind of wake-up call. We're called, I, you, we're called late bloomers. And I'm proud to be a late bloomer. And what happens when you become a late bloomer is instead of dreaming the way we used to dream, and I think our dream before we really tagged how important a GED is that the sun comes up and it goes down and it comes up and it goes, and as long as we don't mind being in a compromising position or perhaps not even recognizing it. And so it was that I joined the Navy without a high school diploma, but it was when I was forced into some things that I didn't like, and especially something where I better do something because somebody said I better do it, and I couldn't get out of it. And that's when I realized, wait a minute, if I had an education, and I think these people who are telling me to do things that I better do, you better sweep that, you better mop, you better get those dishes, I couldn't rise above that employed position. And so, I want to welcome all of you. It's our world, the late bloomers. And you all are very, very successful. The Greenfield Community College is not fooling around. Their GED graduates are way up there. You have goals now, I hope, not dreams. Not dreams, because that's, dreaming the sun goes up and it comes down. And the moon comes up and, and you had a little smoking. But, goal. And I'm sure many of you have that now. You have your GED. You now know how to talk to counselors. You know how to talk to teachers. You realize that there are wonderful people willing to help you. So, congratulations. Congratulations. It is wonderful. This is Dr. William Henry Cosby Jr., Annie Cosby's oldest boy, who graduated from the University of Massachusetts, Amherst, with his GED while in the Navy.
So now is the time we've all been waiting for. It's time to honor our graduates with their diplomas they so richly deserve. Atrell Adams. Come on up. Congratulations. Jocelyn Adams. Congratulations. Peter Aldis. Congratulations. Samantha Aldis. Congratulations. Kara Aslan. Emily Cologne. And we have a tradition here at GCC. Where's Regina? Regina. If we have a family member who works at the school who would like to give a diploma to another family member, we invite them to come up. So, Michael Curtis. Maria de Jesus. Madeline DeWolf. Rachel Dillenbach. Christopher Downey. Congratulations. Betty Falcon Rivera. Congratulations. Lucy Mae Guston. Krista LeBert. Congratulations. Giovanna McKelvey. Trevor Meservey. Ephraim Morales. Jennifer Norwood. Congratulations. Trisha Bakor. Congratulations. Raylene Rice. Congratulations. Thank you. Harley D. Richards, Jr. Congratulations. Steve Roach. Congratulations. Esteban Rodriguez, Sr. Vanessa Rodriguez. Congratulations. Wilbert Rodriguez. Shoshone Sadowski. Well done. Savine? Yeah, Savine. Tyler Savine. Donna Tanner. Congratulations. Angela Taylor. Brian Vermees. Hector. Piece of paper? Yeah. I'll shake your hand too. Hector Sabata. Megan Hamo. And Jamal Peters. Congratulations. Let's give everybody a round of applause. Congratulations. Will all the graduates please rise? You may now flip your tassels if you haven't already done so. This is official, folks. All right.